how confident are you looking at today's performance? 2-2. It's actually a good score.
Actually, I'm very confident. To be honest,
You
confident,
sound
yeah.
exactly like Hoss.
No. I'm very confident.
What's up, everyone? This is We Talk Ajax. My name is Juan, and we're here to discuss the first game of Ajax in the qualifying of the Champions League against Paok. They just played the first match away from home, 2-2. I'm very excited to discuss this today with our new panel member, Maxwell. Maxwell, welcome.
Very excited to be here. Thank you.
So before we talk about the game, for the viewers that don't know you, and I was wondering, how long do we know each other? We go way back.
That's
and for the viewers as well, when we call each other or we app each other, text message each other, what do we talk about?
Ajax.
Exactly. So now you have to do it in front of the camera.
We'll see how it goes.
Okay. So don't hold back. Okay.
No.
All right. So first game, we just saw the game. What is your opinion? What did you think? How do you rate the performance?
Difficult match, but I don't think we lost the game. To me, it's pre-season, so you can't say much about it in this stage. Nonetheless, I think it was first half was bad. They started okay, first 20 minutes. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, it was okay, but it was sloppy. After that, you saw Paok. They took over the game. Second half, Ajax was better, a lot better, but again sloppy. Especially the players who you expect to stand out of the team, Van de Beek, Ziyech, they were sloppy in the passing. Blind, I think he's adjusting to his new role as a midfielder, although he played it, I think, longer than that he played in center defense, because he also as a youth player he was midfielder. But he isn't Frankie de Jong, who is obviously he's missed.
So what are you saying? Are you saying we have to get used to the fact that Blind has to get into his new role? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't think it's Blind who has to adapt to his new role. I think it's the players around him who have to adapt to his kind of way of playing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so before we go talk about the players, like in the sense that how they are doing in their new positions, because of course we know that a couple of players have left.
Mm-hmm.
Last Saturday, of course, I discussed with Hoss also about these things and the transfer that's still open. We'll talk about it in a minute. So let's go from the beginning. Let's go from the start. So I think I started really well. Actually, I was a bit surprised. We were watching the game together, and after 25 minutes, Ajax was up 1-0. You remember I told you, just right before the goal came, I was like, is this really what Paok is going to do? I mean, they seemed like a bit wow, okay, we're playing against Ajax. I think they were a bit very reserved. And then all of a sudden, the goal came, and then you saw a totally different game, in my opinion.
I can agree. The difference between Ajax before the first goal, and after, don't know what it is, because last year we saw the same thing. To my opinion, because last year there were a lot of times Ajax, they took the lead, but then I don't know if you would say they would drop back,
mm-hmm.
or it's a feeling of being from a feeling of where it's going to be okay. But I think in this case it was Paok had the feeling of, okay, we're 1-0, but they're not playing that great as we saw last year. Maybe if we step up a notch, we can make a difference. And that's in my opinion what happened. But if you look at from a point of view of Ajax, I think they were 60%, 70% will finish the game. But that wasn't the case.
Do you really think that's the case, or you think that's more a case of, like I'd also talked to Hoss about on Saturday? I mean, there are a couple of players that didn't go through the preseason. We were talking about this today as well during the game. Ziyech came very late. Neres came very late. Tagliafico came very late. These are the players that actually have to stand out. And of course, it's very difficult if you've missed the whole preparation to come in and start playing these important games. I mean, no matter how good you are and how important you are for the team, you're still, coming from vacation. You have to come, get used to everything. I think I agree with you that, and I've said this before as well, Ajax always in the beginning of the season, because of how they are, they cannot have a team prepared from the beginning because they can sell players at the last moment, And considering all that, I think, we drew on Saturday, first game of the season, against, I think, a decent opponent. Vitesse is a decent opponent. Today, I thought, I have mixed feelings, to be honest. I think Ajax played, I think the second half was a different story, by the way. But if you look at the first game, the first half, Ajax was a bit slow, but they were dominating the game. But that's because, as you said, Paok was giving them, room to play.
Yeah.
Once Ajax scored a goal, which was actually offside, to be honest, we just saw the replay. Martinez was offside, so we're lucky there's no VAR, but that was a lucky goal. And if we look at the second goal of Huntelaar, that's a lucky goal as well. I think it doesn't. I'm not saying that Ajax was very lucky, because I think Ajax, especially in the second half, last 20, 25 minutes, they were dominating. There was nothing going, wrong anymore. But they couldn't make the third goal. I think after the 2-2, Ajax was just on top of everything. But the first half, I agree with you. It was very, very sloppy. Now, if we go back to the goal that Paok scores, it's a very funny situation, because right before the goal, there was this water break. It seemed like a water break, but there was like an injury of, I think, who was the injured player again?
Ziyech, if I recall.
Yeah, Ziyech was injured, but then there was like some kind of water break. So it was around the 28th minute. And what happens after? Because you see the coaches, they talk to the players. Do you think this is something that can affect a play, like a team in like defensive concentration wise? Do you think that's a story, or do you think
obviously you have in this case you have a discussion. You can adjust things 20 minutes before you would normally do it. Mm-hmm. Normally you would have the boys together in the dressing room when it's 45 minutes played. So in this case, you can see it as an advantage. Okay. That you see your players 20 minutes before break time.
Mm-hmm. There was something interesting also that you mentioned during the match. You were actually referring to last year, and you were saying like Ten Hag has a way of playing, and the starting 11 players, taking into account that Neres still has not got to like the stamina he needs to be at, because he missed all the preparation. But let's say Neres also comes into the squad. There are a couple of new players, new faces, especially at the center back. Now, what's your opinion about that? How do you see Schuurs and Martinez? How do you see that? I mean, it's the first two games.
Yeah, that's good. It's good that you pointed out. Before this game, Schuurs and Martinez, I had nothing to comment about them. Just that it was a positive duo, especially if you look at Schuurs, if you know where he's coming from. Mm-hmm. But in this game, I thought Martinez wasn't that good as he was before. He had some sloppy mistakes when he should have had the ball. And other players had to adjust his fouls that he made. But that's on the defense. But if he's on the ball, I think he's a strong player when he has the ball on his feet. He's a strong defender. But I think the biggest difference for him is when you play in an Ajax, you have to play with 40, 50 meters in your back. Mm-hmm. And that's the difference, because if you miss it, the field is open.
Exactly.
And probably, I think, because I haven't seen a lot of games of him in Argentina, I don't think he has played with that kind of room in his back. So that's the difference. Then you have to choose: do I have the ball for 100%? If I don't have it, I stay back and I wait what the opponent is going to do, and then I take the.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. So let's go for the viewers. We ask all panel members once they watch the game to give us their rating of the players. That also happened last Saturday. You will see it at the end of the video. So I'm going over the rating that you gave, and actually it's a bit funny, if I can say funny, because you rated Neres, who only played 10 minutes, the highest rating, which is an 8. Can you explain that?
It's difficult because he came in late. So actually, I can give him a good rating just because for the 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes that he played. But you can look at it in two ways. He played only 10 minutes, but he was fresh and he brought in the right spirit that you want to see of all those players. But he was fresh. So that's what you expect from any substitute coming in. But then again, what he did was good, and he soloed on one time, I think, in the end of the game, on the way let me know.
Yeah. I want to just touch upon one more thing. Dolberg. It's getting a little bit to the point. We also I discussed it with Jos on Saturday about Dolberg. It's getting to a point where you're starting to feel sad for the guy. You know, I don't know. I mean, we don't know how serious the injury is, but it doesn't help also that Huntelaar came in, and I know it was a lucky goal, but he makes the goals.
But to me, it's not just scoring the goals. It's as a striker, especially an Ajax number 9. It's also about when the ball is at the winger side, you go for the first post. It's common. Holland kind of play. Mm-hmm. You go for the first post, and if you're not going to the first post, you go to the second post. But he is to me, it looks like he's wandering, doesn't know what he's going to do, or he is relying too much on his instinct of this is where I might need to be when the ball is going to fall
sorry
down.
to interrupt you. Do you think that Dolberg is struggling mentally, or do you think
I think so.
Or do you think it's a physical thing?
I think so. If you have to believe what they are saying in the media, they are saying Dolberg is doing the most amazing things on practice. But why don't we see it in the game?
Yeah.
Because it's like to me it's like 2 years ago that we saw a spectacular Dolberg.
Yeah, well, that was with Peter Bos, of course, in the Europa League. Yeah.
That's the most frustrating thing. Yeah. You know he can do it. You know how he can play. So why don't you play like that?
Yeah. Well,
that's the most frustrating thing.
The thing that you can argue with is that he had a serious injury, in between. And I have the feeling also, I think I agree with you on the mental part. I also think that he's not 100% fit like he can be. He seems a bit overweight even, in my opinion. It's difficult for me to judge from a distance, but it seems like that.
I can give an honest opinion about that. Okay. Don't know. No, he looks fit though, to me. He looks fit, but...
So last thing about Dolberg, do you think this is the year? This has to be his year?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. Yeah.
To me, he is. I don't trust him to come to that level anymore.
Back? No.
No, okay. I don't. And not at Ajax. Maybe if he is
goes to a new environment.
Yeah. For example, or will come back to a kind of play that he was used to, or where the pressure is a little more less than at Ajax. Then maybe he will be the Dolberg that we saw. Yeah.
No, that's clear. So to wrap up, how confident are you looking at today's performance? 2-2. It's actually a good score.
Actually, I'm very confident. To be honest,
you sound exactly like
no. I'm very confident. No, but of course, there were some times at the game that I wasn't. I was oh my god, where is this going? But to be honest, if you just relax and look at what we saw Ajax dominate the game for 70 to 75 minutes. They had the ball, they had chances, and that's what you want to see. Creating the chances, because if you're not creating the chances, then it's a different ball game. But they are creating the chances. The next step is to be effective and score the goals. That's the second step, and they did create. How many chances did they shoot? 16 to 20 goal attempts.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they had some.
Then you have to score at least 3-4 goals. in the end.
One more thing, especially for Jos, who's probably watching as well. He said Veltman was a disaster on Saturday. How would you rate him today?
Veltman,
I know what you gave, of course.
But in the first half, he was. I think he was great in defensive point of view because he had a great save.
Actually, he had two.
He had two saves. Yeah. And you can deny that wasn't a good thing that he did, but. As an Ajax wing back, you have to expect, especially when you are in ball position, you have to expect more from a player like him. Same goes for Tagliafico on the other side. In first half, I think they were both. They didn't came to the attacking point of the playing of Ajax.
Yeah.
So that's what I think he lack of.
Yeah. Okay. So will we go through to the next round? Yes or no?
In the home game with the fans, of course.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. We're wrapping up now. If you have any questions, comments, please let us know. Subscribe, please, to our channel if you liked that we are talking about Ajax, which is what we'll be doing in the current season. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Bye.